Tyler was always kind of quieter since we were little, but not like quiet weird.
A classmate in shock, a grandmother in denial. On September 10th, 2025, Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk, and his own family made the heartbreaking choice to turn him in. Now they're breaking their silence about the son they thought they knew and the decision that changed everything. The unthinkable transformation. Family breaks silence. In the aftermath of one of America's most shocking political assassinations, the Robinson family has finally chosen to speak. What they reveal about Tyler Robinson's final free moments paints a portrait so disturbing, so completely at odds with the young man they raised that even his own grandmother refuses to believe he's capable of murder. Tyler Robinson's transformation didn't happen overnight, but the final pieces fell into place during a seemingly ordinary family gathering. Just hours before, he would drive 250 miles north to Utah Valley University and execute Charlie Kirk with a single rifle shot. For the Robinson family, that evening of September 9th, 2025, represents the last normal moment before their lives were shattered forever. The family's decision to cooperate with law enforcement, ultimately leading to Tyler's capture, has been described by behavioral experts as almost unheard of behavior that demonstrates their moral compass. But the cost of doing what they believed was right has been devastating for a family that neighbors describe as the embodiment of American values. In St. George, Utah, where the Robinson family has deep roots, the revelation that one of their own had committed political murder sent shockwaves through a community that prides itself on traditional Mormon values and conservative politics. The contrast couldn't be starker. A family of registered Republicans who supported Donald Trump raising a son who would become radicalized into viewing conservative activists as enemies deserving death. Tyler's grandmother, 69-year-old Debbie Robinson, became the first family member to break the painful silence. In interviews that revealed her profound confusion and denial, she painted a picture of the Tyler she thought she knew. A picture that investigators say bears little resemblance to the methodical assassin who spent September 9th planning murder. There's no way he could be violent. There's absolutely no way that he did that, Debbie Robinson insisted to reporters, her voice filled with the desperation of a grandmother trying to reconcile the impossible. I've watched that child grow up, and I can't imagine that it would ever be him. And I'm not just saying that as his grandma. It's just knowing him as I do. He's the surest person. But Debbie Robinson's portrait of her grandson reveals the tragic disconnect between the Tyler she remembered and the radicalized young man he had become. He has never ever spoke politics to me at all, she said, apparently unaware of the political transformation that had consumed Tyler in recent months. Her denial extended to fundamental aspects of the crime itself. I don't think he ever shot a gun, to tell you the truth. He doesn't hunt. He's never liked anything like that. I know he doesn't own any guns. There's just no way he could have been that good of a shot, she claimed. Despite family social media posts showing Tyler posing with firearms, including a Browning .50 caliber machine gun, the family's Republican credentials run deep. My son, his dad, is a Republican for Trump. Most of my family members are Republican. I don't know any single one who's a Democrat. We're Republicans for Trump, Debbie Robinson emphasized, highlighting the ideological chasm that had opened between Tyler and his family. While Tyler's grandmother clung to denial, other family members were facing a far more difficult reality. The dinner conversation on September 9th had revealed the depth of Tyler's political radicalization in ways that would later prove crucial to investigators.
Since I met him growing up, was always a kind, respectable, genuine kid. The kind of student that teachers liked, and all this, I feel like, not just to me, but everyone else, has come really unexpected.
According to family members who spoke with law enforcement, the evening began as a typical Robinson family gathering. But as the conversation turned to current events, Tyler's demeanor shifted dramatically. The topic of Charlie Kirk's upcoming Utah Valley University appearance came up, and Tyler's reaction was immediate and intense. His family witnessed a level of political hatred they had never seen from him before. As investigators later revealed, Tyler declared that Kirk was full of hate and spreading hate, his voice carrying venom that shocked his conservative relatives. What made this conversation even more disturbing was that other family members, while disagreeing with some of Kirk's positions, had no idea that Tyler's hatred had reached murderous levels. The family's cooperation with law enforcement began the moment they recognized Tyler in FBI photographs. His father, Matt Robinson, made what experts call an extraordinarily difficult decision, confronting his own son about committing one of the most notorious crimes in recent American history. The conversation between father and son has been described by law enforcement as pivotal to Tyler's eventual surrender. When Matt Robinson asked Tyler, "Is this you? This looks like you," Tyler's response confirmed his father's worst nightmare. But rather than trying to protect his son or help him flee, Matt Robinson made the agonizing choice to involve authorities. Tyler's initial reaction revealed the psychological turmoil of someone who had committed an act so extreme that even he couldn't fully process its implications. Rather than denying involvement, Tyler admitted to the crime, but expressed suicidal thoughts, telling his father he would rather kill himself than surrender to authorities. This response suggests that despite his careful planning and apparent ideological commitment, Tyler hadn't fully considered the personal consequences of his actions. The family intervention that followed demonstrates what behavioral experts describe as remarkable moral courage under impossible circumstances. Matt Robinson contacted a family friend who occupied a unique position in their community. Someone who served both as a youth pastor familiar with counseling troubled individuals and as a court security officer with direct connections to law enforcement agencies. This individual's dual role made him perfectly suited for the delicate situation. Working with the Washington County Sheriff's Office and the U.S. Marshal Service, he helped coordinate what would become Tyler's peaceful surrender. The fact that the family chose this particular person to intervene reveals their understanding that Tyler needed both spiritual guidance and legal protection during the process. Interview.
The way I've seen him, I've never seen really anybody dressed all in black with a mask on, and I thought that was just quite weird.
Throughout this ordeal, neighbors in the Robinsons' quiet St. George neighborhood watched in disbelief as their community became the center of a national news story. The family home, surrounded by police tape and media vehicles, became a symbol of how political violence can emerge from the most unlikely places. Kristen Schwerman, who had known Tyler since childhood through her work at his elementary school, became one of the few neighbors willing to speak publicly about the family's ordeal. Her observations revealed the profound shock rippling through their
You know what I know about Tyler is he was always very quiet. He was very smart. He had just a real mellow personality, never caused any problems. Like I said, he was smart and he kept to himself, and I don't know who his friends were as of now.
Schwerman's bewilderment reflects the broader community response in a place where everyone knows everyone else. The idea that Tyler Robinson, the quiet, intelligent young man they had watched grow up, could commit political assassination seemed impossible to accept. The family's decision to cooperate fully with authorities came at enormous personal cost. Not only did they lose their son to the criminal justice system, but they also faced intense public scrutiny and online harassment as details of the case emerged. Yet, their actions potentially saved lives by bringing Tyler's brief career as a political assassin to a peaceful end. The Robinson family's cooperation provided investigators with crucial insights into Tyler's mental state during those final hours. Family members revealed that Tyler had been tracking Kirk's speaking tour schedule for days, demonstrating the premeditated nature of his attack. They also provided access to Tyler's devices and living spaces, helping investigators piece together the digital trail that would become central to the prosecution's case. Perhaps most significantly, the family dinner conversation on September 9th gave investigators crucial evidence about Tyler's motive. His explicit hatred of Kirk expressed in front of multiple family members just hours before the assassination became a key piece of the puzzle that prosecutors would later use to demonstrate premeditation. The contrast between Tyler's public persona and his private radicalization has left his family struggling to understand how they missed the warning signs. Neighbors described Tyler as polite and helpful, while family social media showed a young man participating in typical family activities, vacations, outdoor recreation, and holiday celebrations. Yet, beneath this conventional surface, Tyler had been undergoing a radical transformation that would culminate in political violence. The family's revelations about his behavior provide crucial insight into how online radicalization can transform ordinary young Americans into domestic terrorists, while those closest to them remain largely unaware of the change taking place. The digital conspiracy, hidden preparations, and deadly planning. While Tyler Robinson's family was grappling with his shocking declaration of hatred for Charlie Kirk during their September 9th dinner, they had no idea that their son was simultaneously orchestrating one of the most methodically planned political assassinations in recent American history. What investigators would later discover about Tyler's digital activities during those crucial moments reveals a level of premeditation that contradicts his grandmother's insistence that he was incapable of violence. The digital evidence that emerged after these messages reveal Tyler's transformation from dinner-table political discussion to active assassination planning within a matter of hours. The methodical nature of his preparations, including advanced reconnaissance of Utah Valley University campus, weapon positioning, and detailed logistics planning, demonstrates a level of premeditation that investigators found deeply disturbing. But Tyler's digital preparations went far beyond simple logistics. The ammunition he prepared for the assassination contained messages that provided unprecedented insight into his political psychology. The bullet casings recovered at the crime scene were engraved with a bizarre mixture of internet memes, gaming references, and anti-fascist symbols that revealed the toxic online culture shaping Tyler's worldview. Among the most significant engravings was the message found on the bullet that actually killed Charlie Kirk. "Hey fascist, catch," followed by arrows. This inscription demonstrated Tyler's view of Kirk not merely as a political opponent, but as a fascist enemy who deserved to be eliminated through violence. Other engravings revealed the influence of online gaming and meme culture on Tyler's radicalization. Messages like "notices bulges." "Oh, what's this?" A copy-pasta meme from online forums appeared alongside more serious anti-fascist references like lyrics from Ola, the Italian anti-fascist resistance song. This mixture of juvenile internet humor and deadly political violence illustrates how Tyler's radicalization occurred through the toxic blend of gaming communities, meme culture, and political extremism that has become increasingly common among young Americans. Unlike traditional political radicalization, which typically involves formal ideologies and organizations, Tyler's transformation happened in the anonymous, unmoderated spaces of the internet, where extreme rhetoric and violent fantasies are normalized. The timeline of Tyler's digital activities on September 9th and into the early morning hours of September 10th reveals the rapid escalation from political hatred to murderous action. Text messages recovered by investigators show Tyler telling contacts, "I have the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it." When pressed about his motivations, his response was chilling. Some hatred cannot be negotiated with. These communications represent far more than casual political discussion or even passionate disagreement. They document Tyler's psychological transformation from someone capable of expressing political views at a family dinner to someone actively planning political murder within hours of that conversation. The technical aspects of Tyler's preparations reveal sophisticated understanding of both firearms and surveillance evasion. His messages to Twigs reference not only the rifle's hiding place, but also his plans to use a scope for accuracy and his intention to change clothing to avoid identification. The level of tactical planning evident in these communications contradicts his family's portrayal of him as someone unfamiliar with weapons or violence. Tyler's online activities during this period also reveal the isolation that facilitated his radicalization. While his family saw him as quiet and withdrawn, his digital communications show someone deeply embedded in online communities where extreme political rhetoric was commonplace. These spaces provided validation for his increasingly radical views while insulating him from moderating influences that might have prevented his descent into violence. The investigation into Tyler's online activities revealed his extensive research into Charlie Kirk's speaking tour schedule and security arrangements. This wasn't a crime of opportunity. It was a carefully planned assassination that Tyler had been preparing for days or possibly weeks. His digital footprint showed detailed knowledge of Kirk's itinerary, venue layouts, and optimal positioning for a long-range attack. Perhaps most disturbing was evidence that Tyler had been consuming content that explicitly encouraged violence against conservative political figures. While investigators have not released details about specific websites or forums Tyler frequented, the nature of his bullet engravings and his tactical knowledge suggest exposure to online spaces where political assassination is discussed as a legitimate tactic rather than an unthinkable crime. The role of Tyler's relationship with Twigs and his radicalization remains a subject of ongoing investigation. Some experts have suggested that Charlie Kirk's vocal opposition to transgender rights and gender-affirming care might have personalized Tyler's hatred, transforming abstract political disagreement into a perceived attack on someone he cared about. However, investigators stress that Twigs had no knowledge of Tyler's plans and cooperated fully with law enforcement. Twigs's cooperation proved crucial to building the case against Tyler. The messages Twigs provided to investigators contained detailed instructions about retrieving the murder weapon and revealed Tyler's awareness of the forensic evidence he would leave behind. These communications demonstrated not only Tyler's premeditation, but also his understanding of police investigative techniques. The digital evidence also revealed Tyler's psychological state during the hours leading up to the assassination. Rather than showing signs of mental health crisis or emotional breakdown, his communications during this period were methodical and purposeful. This evidence contradicts defense theories about diminished capacity and supports prosecutors' arguments about premeditated murder. Tyler's activity on social media platforms during his final 3 hours also provided investigators with insight into his mindset. His posts during this period showed no indication of second thoughts or moral doubt about his planned action. Instead, they revealed someone who had fully committed to political violence as a legitimate response to ideological disagreement. The sophistication of Tyler's digital operational security during this period surprised investigators. His use of encrypted messaging, careful timing of communications, and attempts to obscure his digital footprint demonstrated knowledge typically associated with more experienced criminals rather than first-time offenders. This technical competence suggests extensive preparation and possibly guidance from online communities familiar with evading law enforcement surveillance. As September 9th turned into September 10th, Tyler's digital preparations entered their final phase. His communications with Twigs included specific instructions about weapon retrieval timing, ammunition preparation, and post-attack evidence disposal. These messages would later prove crucial to investigators tracking Tyler's movements and building their case for premeditated murder. The contrast between Tyler's family dinner conversation and his simultaneous digital activities on September 9th illustrates the double life he had been leading. While his family saw glimpses of his political radicalization, they had no idea about the extent of his online activities or the deadly serious nature of his intentions. This disconnect between Tyler's public and private personas would prove crucial to understanding how someone from such a conventional background could commit political assassination. The family's impossible choice: betrayal, sacrifice, and justice. The Robinson family's decision to turn in their own son represents one of the most morally complex family situations in recent American criminal history. As Tyler Robinson sat in custody following his surrender on September 12, 2025, the full weight of what his family had sacrificed for the sake of justice began to emerge through their reluctant interviews with investigators and the media. The family's cooperation with law enforcement went far beyond simply identifying Tyler in FBI photographs. In the days following his arrest, family members provided investigators with intimate details about Tyler's transformation, his final communications, and the warning signs they now realize they should have recognized. Their revelations paint a heartbreaking portrait of parents who chose justice over protecting their child, knowing it might cost them everything. Matt Robinson, Tyler's father, became the central figure in his son's capture. The conversation between father and son that led to Tyler's surrender has been described by law enforcement as extraordinary in its moral clarity. When Matt Robinson recognized his son in the FBI surveillance images, he faced a choice that no parent should ever have to make: protect his child or protect society from what his child had become. The confrontation between Tyler and his father revealed the depth of Tyler's psychological transformation. Rather than maintaining innocence or expressing remorse, Tyler's immediate reaction was to consider suicide rather than face the consequences of his actions. His statement that he would rather kill himself than surrender to authorities suggests that despite his careful planning, Tyler hadn't fully processed the reality of what political assassination would mean for his own life. The family's intervention required extraordinary emotional strength. Matt Robinson had to convince his son, who had just committed one of the most notorious crimes in recent American history, to surrender peacefully rather than escalate the situation further. The success of this intervention likely prevented additional violence and demonstrated the family's commitment to ending Tyler's brief career as a domestic terrorist. Tyler's surrender itself became a moment of profound tragedy for the Robinson family. As law enforcement took custody of their eldest son, they were simultaneously losing a family member and helping to ensure that justice would be served for Charlie Kirk's murder. The emotional cost of this decision continues to reverberate through their lives and their community. Following Tyler's arrest, his family's cooperation with investigators intensified. They provided access to Tyler's living spaces, devices, and personal belongings, helping investigators build the comprehensive case the prosecutors would later use to seek the death penalty. This level of cooperation, while morally admirable, came at enormous personal cost to a family already devastated by their son's actions. The family interviews conducted by investigators revealed disturbing details about Tyler's final months and weeks. Family members described his increasing political radicalization, his growing isolation from family activities, and his obsession with online political content. These observations provided to investigators, despite the potential harm to Tyler's defense, demonstrated the family's commitment to truth over family loyalty. Perhaps most significantly, the family provided investigators with crucial evidence about Tyler's state of mind during his final free hours. Their account of the September 9th dinner conversation where Tyler explicitly declared his hatred for Charlie Kirk became central to prosecutors' arguments about premeditation. By sharing these intimate family moments with law enforcement, the Robinsons sacrificed their privacy and potentially their son's freedom for the sake of justice. The investigation also revealed the extent to which Tyler had been deceiving his family about his online activities and political intentions. While family members were aware of his increasing political engagement, they had no idea about the depth of his radicalization or the serious nature of his intentions. This deception added another layer of betrayal to the family's already devastating situation. Tyler's arrest and subsequent refusal to cooperate with investigators created additional strain for his family. While they had chosen to help law enforcement, Tyler himself remained defiant and unrepentant. This dynamic left the family in the impossible position of having helped capture their son while he continued to reject their values and choices. The community response to the family's cooperation was mixed, but generally supportive. Neighbors who had watched Tyler grow up expressed sympathy for parents forced into an impossible situation. Many residents of St. George praised the family's moral courage while acknowledging the terrible price they had paid for doing what they believed was right. Interview. The broader implications of the family's cooperation extend beyond the single case. Their decision to prioritize public safety over family loyalty has been cited by experts as a model for how families should respond when they discover that a loved one has committed serious crimes. However, the emotional and social costs of such decisions remain profound and long-lasting. The Robinson family's experience highlights the broader challenge facing American families dealing with online radicalization. Tyler's transformation from a quiet, high-achieving student to a political assassin happened gradually, with family members noticing changes, but not recognizing their significance until it was too late. Their story serves as a warning about the signs of radicalization that families should watch for and the importance of early intervention as Tyler Robinson awaits trial in Utah County Jail. His family continues to grapple with the aftermath of their decision to turn him in. The legal proceedings ahead will likely require additional cooperation from family members, potentially including testimony against their son in a death penalty case. This ongoing burden represents just one aspect of the price they continue to pay for their moral courage. The family's revelations about Tyler's final free moments provide crucial insight into how online radicalization can culminate in political violence. Their detailed accounts of his behavior, communications, and psychological state during this period offer investigators and researchers unprecedented data about the final stages of the radicalization process. Despite the praise they have received for their cooperation, the Robinson family's future remains uncertain. The social stigma of having raised a domestic terrorist, combined with the ongoing media attention and legal proceedings, will likely affect their lives for years to come. Their sacrifice of family loyalty. The broader implications of the family's cooperation extend beyond the single case. Their decision to prioritize public safety over family loyalty. Interview.
What message would you send to Tyler if you could say anything to him right now?
What social media were you on and what friends were you hanging around? Because I feel you can't come up with that on your own. I feel like there's some hate in this world, and it shouldn't be that way. And you need to reconcile.
The broader implications of the family's cooperation extend beyond the single case. Their decision to prioritize public safety over family loyalty has been cited by experts as a model for how families should respond when they discover that a loved one has committed serious crimes. However, the emotional and social costs of such decisions remain profound and long-lasting. The Robinson family's experience highlights the broader challenge facing American families dealing with online radicalization. Tyler's transformation from a quiet, high-achieving student to a political assassin happened gradually, with family members noticing changes, but not recognizing their significance until it was too late. Their story serves as a warning about the signs of radicalization that families should watch for and the importance of early intervention as Tyler Robinson awaits trial in Utah County Jail. His family continues to grapple with the aftermath of their decision to turn him in. The legal proceedings ahead will likely require additional cooperation from family members, potentially including testimony against their son in a death penalty case. This ongoing burden represents just one aspect of the price they continue to pay for their moral courage. The family's revelations about Tyler's final free moments provide crucial insight into how online radicalization can culminate in political violence. Their detailed accounts of his behavior, communications, and psychological state during this period offer investigators and researchers unprecedented data about the final stages of the radicalization process. Despite the praise they have received for their cooperation, the Robinson family's future remains uncertain. The social stigma of having raised a domestic terrorist, combined with the ongoing media attention and legal proceedings, will likely affect their lives for years to come. Their sacrifice of family loyalty for the sake of justice represents a profound moral choice that few families will ever have to face. The family's decision to speak with investigators and eventually with selected media outlets about Tyler's transformation reflects their desire to help prevent similar tragedies by sharing their painful experience. They hope to educate other families about the warning signs of radicalization and the importance of early intervention when those signs appear. As the nation continues to grapple with the rising threat of domestic terrorism, the Robinson family's experience offers both lessons and warnings. Their story demonstrates that political violence can emerge from seemingly normal families and communities, often with little advanced warning. It also shows that families faced with such situations can choose to prioritize public safety over family loyalty, though at enormous personal cost. The final chapter of Tyler Robinson's story, his trial, potential conviction, and possible execution, will continue to impact his family for years to come. Their decision to cooperate with law enforcement ensured that justice could be pursued for Charlie Kirk's murder, but it also condemned them to live with the consequences of their son's actions and their own moral choices. The complexity of the Robinson family situation defies simple moral categorization. They are simultaneously the family of a domestic terrorist and the heroes who ensured his capture. Their story illustrates the painful reality that doing the right thing often comes at enormous personal cost, and that the families of criminals face their own form of victimization even when they choose to cooperate with justice. Tyler Robinson's transformation from beloved son to political assassin, and his family's response to that transformation, will likely be studied for years as experts try to understand how to prevent similar tragedies. The Robinson family's cooperation with investigators provided crucial insights into the radicalization process, but it came at a price that no family should have to pay. Their story serves as both a cautionary tale about the dangers of online radicalization and an example of moral courage in the face of impossible circumstances. As Tyler Robinson faces the possibility of execution for his crimes, his family continues to live with the consequences of both his choices and their own, a burden they will carry for the rest of their lives. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, click on one of the boxes playing on your screen to watch more similar content.